Happy Friday! Happy 4th of July weekend. Welcome back. Video 4 of our 6-part video series leading up to Tuesday, July 5th, our kickoff for the 6-week coaching program. Getting pretty excited about that. So, in week 4 of the 6-week program, we will be learning about healing liquids such as smoothies, shakes, different drinks, teas, how to spice up, flavor up, fun up your water, and last but not least, bone broth. I'm sure that a lot of you have heard about bone broth. It's become quite popular. I didn't know anything about it until 2 years ago, had never heard of it, had no idea how amazing it was, but I am certain that bone broth has been one of the key things in healing my body. It is absolutely amazing. Why? Well, because basically, years and years ago, people would use every single part of the carcass of whatever it was that they were eating. And with chickens, people would, after they would eat the chicken, the whole chicken, they would take the carcass, the scraps, the bones, put it in a pot, and they would let that simmer, and they would let the bone marrow and the gelatin and the minerals and the vitamins from the bone, seep out and make this delicious broth. And I know that kind of sounded gross because I just used the word seep. That's not appetizing, but I swear to you, it's delicious and it's healthy. Oh my gosh. So anyway, we have just kind of gotten away from all that type of stuff. We eat a lot of muscle meat. We eat, we just get the chicken breast and maybe the thighs or the drumsticks, and we throw everything away. And we're throwing all of the, actually the most healthful stuff away, because whenever you can make the bone broth, it is just phenomenal, the health benefits that come from the marrow and the gelatin. For instance, with the marrow, that's very good for your brain and all of your organs. And gelatin helps your body digest your food, and it just provides like that smoothing, softening effect throughout your organs and your system, and helps you to digest and assimilate things better. And gelatin and marrow are also known to just be very healing and have healing properties. Now, the vitamins and the minerals that come from the actual bones, are obviously very good for us, because vitamins and minerals are important and necessary for us to thrive and to be healthy. And those vitamins and minerals strengthen our bones. And so you're getting a lot of nutrition from a bone broth. Bone broth is something that does require time on the stove, just simmering, but you don't really have to do a whole lot to actually make it. The recipe that I use comes from this cookbook, the Nourishing Traditions Cookbook for Children. There is just a regular Nourishing Traditions Cookbook. I really like this just because I have a son. I incorporate him into cooking and being in the kitchen. He's involved and likes to look at everything. And I think as he gets older, this will be really useful, because for every recipe, like specifically the bone broth, they not only explain everything in a very simple way and break everything down very easily so that kids could follow along, but for adults, the information that they give you, like for instance, they go into some detail here explaining why the bone broth is healing and why it's so good for us. So, basically what you do is, let's say that you have baked a whole chicken. So you're just going to take the carcass, everything that's left, everything, and you're going to put it in a pot. You can even add in some things like chicken feet, which I got these from that local farm, the Family Cow. They sell various bones. So after they butcher their chicken or their beef, they package up the bones and sell them so that you can make your own bone broth. So you can add in different things. A lot of, different recipes, like for beef bone broth, will call for oxtail bones and, things like that. So you can use any bones, any animal bones for chicken or bone broth. There are people who make venison bone broth from the bones of a deer also. So that's something you can do as well. But basically what you do, you put the chicken bones in a pot and you pour water. You put water just so that it's over the bones, and you add some apple cider vinegar, and you're just going to let that actually sit for about an hour. And at room temperature, just let that sit. And then you can turn the heat on and bring the water to a boil. And then whenever you do that, whenever it's boiling, there's going to be foam that comes on top of the water. So you're just going to skim that foam off. That's the impurities that are coming out. So you just want to skim that off and throw it away, put it in a bowl or, in the sink or whatever. And then you're going to cover the pot and you're going to turn the heat down to low and you're going to let that simmer. Now in here they say 6 to 12 hours. I have done it for 4 to 5 hours. 6 hours is usually the most. There are other recipes that do say 4 to 6 hours is sufficient. This cookbook is, encouraging you to get the full benefit. So if you really want to make sure you're getting everything you can out of those bones, you could do a 6 to 12 hour simmer. So, it's something that you could do like on the weekend, on a Sunday. Just turn it down on the lowest setting and let that simmer. And basically what you're going to do is you have the option where you can remove the bones in the middle of the simmering process with like a slotted spoon, and just wait and let them cool down. And then you can actually take your hands and open up the bones and just break them open, and you'll kind of see that soft marrow come out. And you can just, do that right over the pot and let that marrow come out and put the bones back in. And then you just let it continue to simmer. And basically, when you have about an hour left, you can then chop up some onion, some carrots, some celery, and add the chopped vegetables in there. You could put some parsley and a bay leaf. And again, whenever you do that, then, as you're seeing foam, you can just skim that off. And then whenever it's been 6 to 12 hours or however long you want to do it, because like I said, I've seen recipes for 4 hours. So if you want to do something that's not as long, you can. But I have typically stuck with this just because it's like the traditional recipe and everything. But once you let that simmer at the full time, you let it cool, take it off the heat, let it cool, and then just get like a strainer and pour the broth in there, and it'll pick up all the bits and bones and stuff and strain that out. And then, you could make like a really big batch of it, put it into containers once it's cool. Don't pour hot broth into plastic containers because that's not good. You don't want the chemicals in the plastic to leach out. Make sure it's cool, and then you could put it in your freezer containers and stick it in the freezer, and then you'll have several containers of it to use. Because obviously something like this you're not going to be able to do, every week or whatever. Maybe like once a month, make a big batch of it and stick it in the freezer. Make it easy on yourself. So that's kind of the gist of how to make it. And what I'll do is I will actually put this recipe with the video, with the post on Facebook. And, obviously I'll credit the cookbook here. And, you can try it out for yourself. And you can also look online to see if there's some variations. Because like I said, for instance, there's a guy named Tom Breimeyer. And his bone broth recipe actually calls for a shorter amount of time. And, it's just a little bit different how he does it. So, you can take a look at variations as well, because they're still going to be nourishing. But I'll put this on the post with the video. So yeah, I mean, for anyone who is pregnant or nursing or even after having a baby, this is extremely nourishing for your body to, replenish, because when you have a baby, that takes a lot out of you, a baby during pregnancy and nursing, I mean, they're kind of like a little parasite. I mean, they're taking a lot out of you. So bone broth is a great way to replenish your body and to help you heal from that. It's also great for after surgeries, and it's very healing for the gut. If you're having stomach issues, digestive issues, bone broth is wonderful to have with a meal. So, yeah, it's very healing. So for anyone who needs that extra TLC, bone broth is awesome. All right. Well, I've really gone over, so I'm going to stop here. Have a wonderful weekend. A couple more videos to go, and then you won't have to look at my mug anymore for a while. All right. Have a great weekend. Great holiday. Bye.